got the basic understanding that sort of conversational cafe, is very much about bringing people together to have like an open conversation, a learning conversation, as Patrick just described. And I was kind of made aware of this, although it was probably with me a long time before that, about the turn of the millennium. How many of you have come across the book called the Gurteen Manifesto? How many of you have seen that book? Just a few. In there, one of the authors, David Weinberger, says that the work of knowledge workers is to have interesting conversations, quite literally. That's our work, that's our job, to have interesting conversations. And I never stopped and really thought about it in that light before. But immediately I read it, it hit me that there was fundamentally what we did as knowledge workers. That was kind of like our core process. And also about the same time, I came across another gentleman who's well worth Googling. His name is Theodore Zeldin. And he's a professor of history at Oxford. He's in his 70s. If you saw a photo of him, he looks a bit like Albert Einstein. He's got a big mass of fluffy hair that comes out here somewhere. And he wrote a little book a few years ago, again about the same time, simply called Conversation. And he just says some wonderful things about conversation. He talks about conversation being a creative process. He says that conversation doesn't just shuffle the cards, it actually creates new cards. And he also talks about conversation in the light of dialogue. He talks about a learning conversation. He talks about a conversation where we're prepared to emerge a slightly different person. And again, I just like his way of putting things. I like those words. A conversation where we're prepared to emerge a slightly different person. Because more often than not, when we go into a conversation, that's probably the last thing that we're thinking about, especially if we don't see eye to eye with other people in the group. We're more in the mode of trying to tell the other person how it is. We're actually debating rather than entering into dialogue. And I tend to clash a little, if that's the word, with Dave Snowden. I mean, I think all of us have got our conversational styles, our conversational preferences. Mine is dialogue. I like to look for the differences, and I like to learn from other people. My style of conversation is kind of much more open in that sense. Dave Snowden, quite differently from me, his style is what he calls robust debate. And so this is a lot more kind of in-your-face conversation. And actually there's nothing wrong with that. It's a perfectly valid style of conversation, and it can work extremely well. But too often, I think, with robust debate, it's awfully easy to spill over into argument. It too quickly can become emotional. There's not a huge difference when I say, Patrick, I don't like that idea, or I don't agree with that idea. It's awfully close to saying, Patrick, that's a stupid idea. Well, no, it's awfully close. If I say to Patrick, that's a stupid idea, it's awfully close to saying, Patrick, you're stupid. And it then gets emotional. So, and all of us have got our separate styles. My time's up, I'm talking far too much. All I want to say is, at your tables, in the cafes here, just be a little reflective of your own conversational style. If you tend to dominate, maybe speak a little less. If you tend to be quiet, maybe speak a little more. And try to bring other people into the conversation, if you like. Don't just be a participant. Actually help facilitate an inclusive conversation at the table.